In this video, we are going to build a complete bullet impact system using decals in Unreal Engine. You will learn how to generate bullet hole textures, turn them into proper decal materials, and spawn them correctly using line trace hit data. By the end of this video, you will have a clean, performant, and production-ready way to add realistic bullet impacts to your weapon system. Okay, let's start by creating a bullet hole impact using the decal system in Unreal Engine. The first thing we need is the texture for the bullet hole. You can either download ready-made textures or create them yourself. For this tutorial, I'm going to generate them using an AI image generator. You can use tools like Sora, ChatGPT image generation, or Gemini. In this video, I am using Sora from OpenAI. The prompt I am using describes a single isolated bullet hole impact with a deep dark center, jagged edges, and a fully transparent background. It is generated as a high-resolution PNG, centered, with no wall texture and no debris, in a two-dimensional decal style. After generating the images, download them and make sure the background is fully transparent. If the background is not transparent, you can use tools like Canva, Photoshop, or any other image editing software to remove the background and export it again with transparency. Now open your File Explorer on Windows or Finder on Mac and drag and drop these images into the content drawer inside Unreal Engine, one by one. Once they are imported, rename them to something like T_bullet_impact01 and T_bullet_impact02. The letter T at the beginning stands for texture. This naming convention helps a lot later, so you immediately know what type of asset this is and where it is coming from. Next, right-click on each texture. From the Sprite Actions menu, select Apply Paper 2D Texture Settings. Do this for all of them. This step sets the correct compression and sampling settings so these textures work properly as decals. I am using two different bullet hole textures here, so I can store them in an array later and randomly select one when a bullet hits a surface. This way, every impact does not look exactly the same. You can use only one texture if you want, or you can use more than two. That part is completely up to you. You can also take this idea further by using different textures for different surface types. For example, metal, wood, concrete, or even character bodies can all have different bullet hole textures. Later, based on what surface we hit, we can select the appropriate texture array and apply the correct decal for that surface. Next, we need to create the decal material for our bullet impact. To do this, right-click on one of the bullet impact textures we imported earlier and select Create Material. Unreal Engine will automatically generate a new material next to that texture using it as the base. After that, rename the material and replace the letter T at the beginning with the letter M so it becomes something like M_bullet_impact01. This way, it is immediately clear that this asset is a material and not a texture. Now open the material. Inside the material editor, click on the result node. In the details panel, change the material domain to Deferred Decal. Then change the blend mode to translucent. Next, connect the RGB output of the texture sample to the base color input. Then connect the alpha channel to the opacity input. There are other approaches that are more common in production, where people use opacity masks instead of transparency. That method is more industry standard, but for this tutorial, I find the translucent approach much simpler and easier to understand, especially when you are getting started. Once everything is connected, click Apply to compile the material. Now I am going to pause the video and repeat the exact same steps for the second bullet impact texture. I will create a second decal material using the same method. After that is done, I will come back and we will apply these decal materials inside our shooting logic in the third-person character blueprint. As you can see, everything is set up and ready. Hopefully you were able to follow along and do the same on your side without any issues. Now let's move forward and wire this into our shooting logic. First, go to the content drawer, then open the third-person folder, then Blueprints, and open the third-person character blueprint. Inside this blueprint, create a new variable and name it something like Bullets Impact Mats. For the variable type, change it to Material. Then make sure this variable is set as an array instead of a single value. After that, click Compile so you can access the default values of this variable. In the Default Value section, click the plus button 2 times to create 2 entries. For each entry, select the decal materials we created earlier. Now we have an array of bullet impact materials, which allows us to pick one randomly each time we shoot, instead of always using the same decal. Next, go to the event graph. Find the logic where you handle the fire input action. Go to the very end of that logic, right after the line trace by channel node. Before we continue, I need to quickly fix a small mistake from the previous video. Earlier, I used multi-line trace by channel, but for this system, we should be using line trace by channel, not multi. So if you still have multi-line trace by channel in your graph, remove that node and replace it with line trace by channel. The logic stays exactly the same. You can hold the control key and reconnect the start and end pins from the old node to the new one, so you do not need to rebuild the whole setup. Once that is replaced with line trace by channel, everything else we are doing from the out hit pin onward stays exactly the same, and we can continue with the decal logic. From the out hit pin of the line trace, connect it to a break hit result node and expand it so we can access all the hit data. In front of that, right-click and search for Spawn Decal at Location and place that node. Now drag the Bullets Impact Mats variable into the graph and use Get to access the array. From that array, search for a random item node. Connect the result of that random item to the decal material input of the Spawn Decal at Location node. Next, we need to define the decal size. You can hard-code a value here if you want, but I prefer to randomize it slightly so the impacts do not all look identical. To do that, search for random float in range. Set the minimum value to 5 and the maximum value to 10. Then connect the result to the decal size input. For the location, take the impact point from the break hit result node and connect it directly to the location input of the decal spawn node. For rotation, right-click and search for Find Look at Rotation. Connect trace start to the start input and connect trace end from the hit result to the target input. Then connect the return value to the rotation input of the decal. Finally, set the lifespan value to 20. This controls how long the decal stays in the world. You can set it to 0 if you want the decal to stay forever, but be careful. Too many decals can become expensive and hurt performance over time. With all of this connected, we are ready to move on and test the result in-game. Now hit play, pick up the gun, and start shooting at the wall. As you can see, the bullet impact decals are being created correctly on the surface. Each shot spawns a decal at the hit location, with a bit of variation in size and material, so the impacts do not look repetitive. This is one of the fastest and easiest ways to create bullet impact visuals using the decal system in Unreal Engine. It is lightweight, flexible, and works well from most shooter-style games. I hope you enjoyed this part of the tutorial. If this was helpful, do not forget to like the video and leave a comment. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. You can join the channel or use the thanks button if you want to support more videos like this. I will see you in the next video.